All right, we got the Rutgers boys back for year two of Greg Schiano, DB Manny Collins up top.
How's it going?
Below me, good having you guys. You know, it's been
Great being on again.
Yeah. Just put up a 61 piece against Temple, so we're all pretty fired up about that. But I'm looking forward to getting you guys' thoughts. Bean, I'll go to you first. You've been really on me to make sure we record this. I've been kind of dodging it, not gonna lie. I've been, not dodging it, but I've had a busy schedule. But definitely want to hear what you guys got to say. What was your first reaction off that 61-point performance against Temple?
Noah Vedral, his performance.
That was going to be one of my next questions. We don't still buy him, do we?
He just I talked to Manny's brother Georgie yesterday about this, and it's just a consistent quarterback play. That's the biggest issue. That's the biggest question mark besides maybe the offensive line. But then again, they showed that they were more physical and a more better team than Temple. And it's just the consistent quarterback play. Noah's, I don't know. I seen other podcasts and they were kind of right too as well, saying that he looked very hesitant. He didn't want to turn the ball over. So instead of him last year, he was more. Looked like he was more willing to take that chance. But last Saturday, he didn't look like he didn't want to turn the ball over. He was using his feet more, which is okay in certain circumstances. But that's Temple. Against a team like Michigan or Ohio State,
Yeah.
They're not good.
It's crazy that you can put up 61 points and we're here complaining about our quarterback.
Well, but you gotta understand that they had 5 turnovers. So the first 3 touchdowns were all short fields. It's a great job by the defense and stuff. And he did exactly what he was supposed to do in those short fields as a quarterback. But again, when we're at the ball, we got the ball at the 10 or the 15 or the 20, and we're trying to take a substantial drive. It didn't look like he was comfortable. He was just very hesitant. It just was like you had a whole year underneath the system. It looked like they took strides in the spring game.
That's what I thought. I thought he was very comfortable running the offense in the spring game.
Yeah, spring game. And then this Temple, he just looked like he just was out of it. Luckily, we have skilled players like Bo Melton and Aaron Cruikshank. And Bo took that one and 30 was like a 45-yard touchdown, a 5-yard comeback.
And then his brother immediately with a pick six. How about you?
Yeah. So
most definitely let me jump in here.
Yeah.
My one thing is if you can't score, you can't win. And that's basically what it was. They did everything. They put all the stuff on the defensive defense side and special teams. That's basically what they wanted off of. And what you're talking about with the quarterback with him, you run the RPO, that's supposed to give you options. If we have a bad offensive line, that's supposed to, justify for it, because they have to read instead of just rushing the whole time. But it seemed like, once he came out the huddle or once he got to play, he knew exactly where he was going to. So there's no reason to run an RPO if you already know exactly what you're doing without reading what the defense is doing. And even when things are open, it was like, okay, what do you just run? You just want to run the ball? We have too many weapons. And you brought up, Kenny, with Bo Melton, with those guys, we have enough weapons out there. So years before, sometimes we lacked with having certain weapons or that it did not fit the offense. This offense fits our skill players. This offense fits our line. So there's no excuse for him not to get the ball out there. And, he was just nervous. He had a few good plays where he wasn't as nervous. When he just let it go. And like certain reads, that's like somebody running a triple option and I'm doing a dive every play. Right. I just know that's what I'm going to do. Why are you running a triple option if you know what you're going to do before you do it?
I mean, we were certainly critical of him last year. And then that Michigan game, he kind of broke out. And it's like, well, glass half full coming in this year. All right, look back at that Michigan game. He showed what he's capable of doing, but I just don't trust his arm a lot. I don't trust him to make window throws. And I don't know. Do you think it's going to be? I mean, it's going to be an issue at some point, right?
It's going to be an issue coming this week, I think.
Yep, exactly. That's what I was going to say. If he plays like he did last week against Syracuse, it's going to be a lot closer game than it has to be.
Yeah, it's just going to be and it's crazy to say this, that the game should have been even more of a blowout. but the defense, you know, when we were up, I think we are up by like 26 or
26
whatever.
nothing. Well, it's
Yeah,
funny because
so
I took
we let up the gas.
I took a live gambling line of 26 nothing for them to win by more than 31. And then Temple scores 14 straight. And I'm like, it's done. And then Rutgers opened it up in the second half and just dominated. But
and it's usually, you know, we never, when you would think we have all these weapons that we would be all right. Yeah. And it's I bet they had a long week of practice.
Yes.
A long week of,
well, that's what's funny.
They did not practice like they won 61-14. They did not practice that way. There was no celebrating on that one.
Well, I like the sound of that because besides Buffalo, I saw put up 68. I didn't see the game, but besides them, Rutgers is the second highest scoring team in the nation. One game, and you know, it's a good feeling, but you're probably right about that. I mean, they interviewed Schiano at the halftime, and he said the turnovers make the score look a lot more skewed.
Yeah,
it is. I mean, the DeJuan Mathis showed some signs, but like, I mean, his numbers weren't any good, but he seemed like capable of keeping plays alive. And that running back Sadie,
the freshman.
Yeah. I thought those guys look capable.
I was on the sideline, and when he ran over those two guys and going into the end zone, man, you thought you heard a car crash. Right. That was violent. That was a violent run over. I'm like, and people just thought he did to one person. It was two people he ran over.
There was like maybe four guys in the area. I think he broke off two and ran over the others. Like,
it was just boom, boom. I'm like, man, you are something else.
Well, when you looked at it throughout the game, Kyle Monungai, he got a lot of carries. Like, he was in there on a 3rd and long for pass protection. So it shows that the coaching staff trust him. Like, yeah. And you would think, I actually like how they're doing it, like how they rotated the running backs, Aaron Young, Pacheco, and Kyle Monungai, how they rotated them, plus with the receivers. Like, they were bringing in Bo, the guy Sanders from the transfer from Bucknell, Isaiah Washington, Shameen Jones. Like, they were rotating the tight ends. Did you see how they used Langan? Like, that was cool. I like that a lot, how they used Langan. Like,
Langan was the best quarterback.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He threw 2 passes. He went 1 for 2 for 7 yards, but he was more efficient somehow.
Yes.
Than Noah. Well, it's
bad to say that. I'm like that, you know, that he was the best quarterback out there. But, you know, when he had his opportunities, when he was supposed to go in there to do what he's supposed to do, he did it.
He did exactly what he did.
Yeah.
They had 6 rushing touchdowns between Pacheco, Monungai, Aaron Young, and Langan. That's pretty wild. I mean, we can't expect to run over teams in the Big Ten the way they did Temple, but I don't know. I mean, that's a good sign for the O-line. I'm not as keyed in as you guys as far as the trenches with Rutgers. Like, I know they had a good recruiting class. Obviously watched them all last year, but I'm still kind of trying to get a feel for this team. I mean, it feels similar for the most part from last year, right?
Yeah, they had 20 out of 24 guys. They had 22 come back in offense and defense.
Yeah. They look a lot better this year.
Yes, they look like they know exactly what they're doing, especially on defense.
Yeah, they're not thinking. They're not thinking out there.
Yeah, they're just reacting. Yep, they're just reacting.
Our secondary, no, not just us. Our defensive line have been rotating. You know, Mike Vedral and all them boys up there, Turner.
He almost had that pick 6.
That would have been huge.
Yeah.
And our linebacker core is solid, and our secondary is finally solid. They're actually leaning, locating. And, you know, like they're most of the guys that were there last year, and Melton,
Max Melton.
We have a secondary. I'm like, and only time when they got, you know, when they caught balls in them, they were in place, but they just may have not leaned and located or something like that, or located right away. But besides that, they look solid.
It really does have like the early feel of Schiano vibes. I mean, you know, there's
what exactly does.
Yeah. There's more years to go with recruiting and all that, but they've built like a nice nucleus. There's a lot of names that, you know, stood out to me last year that I'm looking at, like the defensive log right now, and who else but Fadakasi leading the team in tackles. Immediately gets that safety, 2 sacks. I mean,
three.
I see 2 here. He might have been in on 1. They didn't give him the stat, but
yeah, they are. They have a lot of upside, and that's one thing I'm happy about at this point. You know, all we got to do is fix a little bit of mistakes. And yeah, only thing I ever seen wrong with the defense is that a couple of times they over pursued.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when they scored a touchdown.
Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, come on.
Christian Izzy, and he came down, and I seen him come down. And I'm like, and before that, he had came down and he was flying all over the place. That against Temple, the tackles he was making, I was like, okay, he's locked in. Like Manny said, he's not thinking. You feel me? He's just reacting. You feel me? So the one time when they scored, he came down and looked like he was right there for the tackle, and it looked like he just was like he reached, and it was like then the dude cut it up and he scored. And I'm like, when I watched the replay, the outside linebacker got blocked into Tyshawn Fall, so it knocked two of them out of the play. And then when the guy cut back, it was just him and Izzy in, and he made a good move. You know?
Yeah, I would say they don't have that many mistakes to clean up. But,
like might be a bad game for like tape because there's just not a lot. I mean, I'm sure Greg will find, where they over pursued in that, but you beat a team 61-14. It's like, not the best for a learning thing going forward, but it's got to be good for confidence. And I think that,
that's the best way to put it. That's one great thing for confidence with them.
Yeah.
Mistakes. Yep. And no team is perfect their first game of the year.
Yeah.
No team is. Like even Alabama wasn't perfect.
Right.
And look at even at Ohio State, they did not look great at first.
Shoot.
And so it's like for us to put up that type of numbers with the lack of
quarterback play,
offensive production, technically.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the wideout stats. Besides Bo, nobody really stood out. I mean, Crookshank had 3 catches, but not many yards.
Yeah, you could tell that they were trying to open everything up, and it was just too many pop passes, too many hitches the whole time. Nothing, downfield.
I know.
So
eventually, we got to get the ball downfield.
Yeah, and Temple is a good. And you know what? People before this game, people didn't downplay Temple as much.
Yeah, they didn't.
It's like, okay, this is going to be a great game. And now, since we put up those numbers, it's just Temple.
Temple was trash. Yeah,
I mean, Vegas spread before the game was 14, and even me, who I was pretty confident before the game, but it was like, shoot, they're Vegas favoring us by like more than 2 scores. I'm just down to look good. I don't care how much we win by, but at the end of the day, you probably want to clean up on Temple. I'm just, the last bunch of years before Greg came back into town kind of humbled me. So I just wanted to get off to a good start. 61 up on the board, and those 14 points were even kind of fluke that they gave up.
They had a very nice quarterback though. The quarterback was actually good.
Mathis, but Rutgers hurt them. They hit him. They were hitting them. So
he was hurting.
He was slipping early. Yeah,
the safety hurt him.
Oh, he got hurt on the safety.
Yeah, right in the beginning.
Oh, okay.
I mean, he only went 8 of 24 for 148 and a pick, but like just how he was moving, he was capable of making throws. And they
tried throws. He tried to throw the ball.
Yeah.
It's just that you can throw the ball as best as you can. I'm like, but if you have a secondary that is just doing a lot and just better than your receivers, you can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
But at least he attempted to throw the ball. We did not attempt to throw the ball.
Now, I think Syracuse, they did win last week, and they were like dogs against, I forget who they played.
Ohio.
I don't really know too much about current day and age Q's football right now. I mean, we can't
Their quarterback is Danny DeVito. He went to high school in South Jersey. Is either Timber Creek, one of them schools by South Jersey, that area. He played there. He did well his freshman year last year, but it's Syracuse, and they really didn't have a great year. Obviously they only won 1 game. Who actually stepped up for them was Darius Chestnut, starting cornerback, true freshman. He got player of the game.
I've seen something on that one.
He's from Camden, New Jersey. Now he chose Syracuse over Rutgers, and that was a big. It's kind of like a little shot, in the arm for Rutgers, because a lot of his some of his teammates and some of his fellow friends that he probably played like spring football with are on Rutgers, and he chose Syracuse over Rutgers. But I think the reason why is because Syracuse told him, "Yo, you're going to start from day one."
Yeah.
You know,
sometimes you got to sell certain players, and you know, even if they just got him, hey, great, we got Melton. Like, hey, we got other people.
Yeah, right. We got
like, I don't see anything bad on that part. You know, as far as you get some we got some of his buddies, but by having some of his buddies on our team or people that are close to him, that helps out with watching film.
What do we need to worry about most going into the Syracuse game? I'll let you go.
The running game. That's it.
Yeah.
The running game. Yeah, because they run similar offense to us, but DeVito's not going to kill us with his legs. And I don't see him killing us with his arm either. He does have a strong arm. He can get the ball down the field. But I feel like the pressure that we're going to apply to him, especially with Fatukasi, to Vedral, even the transfer from Temple. I don't know if you've seen him. What's his name? I can't say his last name, number 88. But he was wrecking havoc. And I feel like the defensive line and how Schiano's going to scheme against him is going to give him problems.
Yeah.
So I think the biggest issue that we would have would be them establishing the running game. Once we take the running game away, I think they're done up.
You have an early feel, Manny?
I'll say it like this. I didn't particularly watch Syracuse on there, but if you make sure that you don't have too many mistakes on your side, and I think that our defense is well-rounded to get everything done. My only worry is, it's about the offense.
Yeah.
Not the players, just getting production. And, you can have the best players in the world and, on paper, but unless we execute and we just have to be more comfortable on offense. Mm-hmm. Let the Wolves go. And, that's basically what the defense did. Let them go. They were blitzing, man to man, went to zone. They did everything, so they just wasn't one-sided. But our offense was a little more one-sided. It was more or less, you only worried about the run. That's why they put so many people in the box at one point. They didn't care. Mm-hmm. So we got to make sure, if people will say that Syracuse may have more athletes than Temple, okay. But if you have more athletes, you have to make sure that you got to worry about those athletes. And if they got a better defensive line, or should I say a secondary, they're going to throw, blitzes all day. They don't care. They don't care about the pass.
That does seem to be where it's at. Like the defense, I'm not going to say they're like a top defense in the nation, but I think our identity as a program right now is ready to be defense and special teams. They nearly got in on like every punt. Felt like they were about to block one.
Max missed one. He literally had it, and he ran past, and he was like, I think he might have been too excited, or he just was like, oh, snap, like, damn, I really jumped the snap that well, like, and he just ran right into the punt, like, you know what I'm saying, instead of trying to go for the ball. And I know they have that little machine when they walk into the practice field that they hit the
hey, we block punts. You know what? I got so many text messages, because shoot, I have 5. I'm like, D-Mac had 5.
Let them know.
And so it's like, we were the block party. I'm like, you know how they used to talk about Virginia Tech all the time. Oh no, we took over. We were beating them in numbers around that time. Yeah, we can block punts. So, trust me, he got in trouble on that one. On film. Like, you can't just run it like that was,
I feel like that's back, and that's why Schiano ball is back, because I feel like it's only a matter of time. I don't think, did they even have a block punt last year? They started getting close.
No.
So we're due. I'm gonna go out on the limb and say we finally block a punt. I don't know what Syracuse special teams like, but
a field goal or a punt?
A punt.
Punt.
Yeah, we seem to get closer on those. I mean, I'm down for a block field goal, but
okay. Yeah. But Aaron Cruikshank, he had 2 great returns on Saturdays.
He always does.
And he's going to be a weapon too. Like, I feel like he can take it to the house anytime on punt return and kickoff return. So that brings an added element to the team as well, that they can put points up in all 3 aspects of the game.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm with Manny. I think all season we're going to be like, if the offense just didn't do this, we would have won that game. I'm a little worried to be like that.
You got to go into the next topic then after that.
And what's that?
Gavin Wimsatt. He's here.
Oh, man.
So he's on
Oh,
campus.
man.
You know,
Yes,
it seemed like you know all about the situation.
All
Yeah,
right, so
he forgoes senior season or
yeah,
the last season.
Damn.
So last Friday, he played in his high school rivalry game, and they won 49-42. Right after the game, he announced to the team that he's leaving early. He's enrolling early at Rutgers.
Now, question: was that a prep year, or was that
No, he was in regular high school. So apparently him and his mother and his family called Schiano. Like Schiano had, you know what I'm saying? They didn't ask him. They called Schiano and asked him, hey, we've seen the guy from Ohio State do it. Could we do it too? So Schiano said, well, we can look into it, you know, and see if you meet the requirements in order for you to graduate early. He met the requirements, and I'm pretty sure also added inset is with this NIL now. I'm pretty sure he's going to sign a 6-figure deal.
Oh, I think he signed one already. So
yeah, he signed. Yeah,
his family's looking for a house already.
Yeah, so
Really?
that played an added incentive, you know, advantage into it as well. Yeah, incentive. And
you would think NIL will help Rutgers being
they will. I
New
think
York
it will.
area. No one's talking about it.
Yeah, no, that's it's a huge thing as far as investing. You know, like me being a person, you know, in Wall Street. Yeah, that's a huge thing because you can talk to athletes early. You know, you can show them how to invest their money early. You bring them a tour around Wall Street, and guess what? I work out there. I can show them all the things. I'm like, but then instead of having to wait years afterwards, you start an investment account at 18.
How's that feel, Manny, for somebody who's, you know, you've been big time D-back on a Rutgers program now that there is NIL? Do you feel like a little bit of sour grapes now that like or is it more of just like we paved the way for this to eventually happen?
Both.
Yeah.
Sour ain't the word. You know, I could have been living a lot different on campus, you know, or
because those were the days.
Yeah. So, but you know what? It has to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And you know, it's like I can't regret that because certain things that I was able to do, some other people paved the way as well. So, but you know what? I like to help people out. So, if anything, now they can learn early, or should I say, now also they don't have to struggle when they're in school, and that's how a lot of athletes get in trouble when they're at school because guess what? You don't have money.
This is some real stuff. How are you supposed to be at the top of your game when you're in the back of your mind? You're like, oh, I don't even know what's going to happen next month.
You get fed. Yep. You know? But do you have all the clothes that you want? Not always. And so it's a little give and take, but hey, you know what? I'm happy that they have it for them.
Yeah.
You know, we're hoping that we would have had it. Yeah. But I'm happy that they have it.
I mean, from what I heard, Alabama QB is getting $1 million.
7 figures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like that's kind of crazy. I mean, not that there should be a rule against getting that much, you know, if it's allowed, it's allowed. Get yours while you can. We live in that world. There's, you know, girls that look good on Instagram do nothing and get big money. So why can't these guys who play their asses off?
And then also to add into that is that a lot of the guys put your body on the line early. And so there's some guys that they go there their sophomore year, tear their ACL, and then they're done completely from there. I'm like, so it's if you have that talent and then they're marketing and making money off of you that early, you know, why not reap some of those benefits because you're actually putting your body on the line.
Absolutely.
You know, there's a lot of people that just didn't make it because of injury. But now I'm stuck being injured, can't play anymore, and now you made that money off of me, and hopefully my degree gets me a good enough job afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be able to take advantage while your value is high, and for some of these athletes, it's never higher than it is when you're playing for a solid D1 program that's got good momentum, that's in the news, that people know about, and yeah, it really is a good thing. It's just I do feel bad for players that definitely deserve the opportunity, and now it's happening. So you know it was something I definitely wanted to ask Manny.
I just hope it doesn't. When you have a 4 or 5 star recruit that comes there, and you know with recruiting and how they get people 4 and 5 stars, you get in the locker room, and you know even if you had the same amount of money, or should I say, just leave the money to the side, they're a 4 or 5-star recruit, then they get exposed once they go to college.
Right.
Because you're a great player where you were at. But then now you go into the locker room where there are more dogs out there.
Exactly.
And they will take your spot. And shoot, to the next level in the NFL, guess what? They're going for a paycheck. They will eat your food. I'm like, so you have to make sure you protect yourself. So I don't want that some of those guys there, you know, it's a double-edged sword. Some of those guys, they're too cocky and they get full of themselves because they got paid already. And then they don't care anymore.
It's a thing in life. Good things happen and you feel like you could let your guard down a little bit, swag out a little bit, but then it's like you got to remember there's still a job to do. There's still many days after tomorrow. You know, just because you got it for a second now doesn't mean, like you said, and the recruit rating, that was kind of the original currency in college, where it's like, oh, you were this, and I'm only a 2-star. Like the McCourties were supposedly only a 2-star. Like, and now they've had long NFL careers. It's like
they're still in the league.
Yeah,
still in the league.
Yeah,
both
doing it. And my guy Logan Ryan's a captain on my Giants. I mean, that's beautiful.
And you know what? And the thing is that both of them, I would say that's a good thing that Rutgers did. You know, with people being versatile, being able to play everything. Right. They both switched positions. All three of them switched positions. Just because they had the flexibility and understanding the game enough to be able to do that. And that's one thing Schiano will make a lot of the guys do, understand the whole game. So once you understand the whole game, then you can trust in the other part. Like we went by TBA, trust, belief, accountability. If you know what's going on, you know you can trust that person. They got to believe in you. You got to hold yourself accountable.
And that's why Coach Belichick loves getting Rutgers guys when he can, because he knows, well, especially the original Schiano era, and I'm sure he'll be back into that pipeline once again now that he knows that any defense that he's running, those guys are so versatile and he can bring them in and know he has way less work on his table.
Yeah, he can plug and play them boys.
Yeah. It won't be that learning curve way too.
Like, you won't have to spend so much time on them.
Yeah, because you have some kids that run certain systems in certain colleges that, you know, for example, like at Alabama, a lot of those quarterbacks can come to a pro style, you know, because that's all they run is a pro style. Right. And you know what your job is to do. That's what a guy, Mac Jones, man, he might be all right.
He looks pretty good. I don't want to overreact too much. It was preseason. He was going against a lot of 2s, but you know, last year, we're all marveling over Devontae Smith, and rightfully so. But nobody was really talking about Mac.
Mac Jones.
He doesn't get outside the pocket. He can't run. Like how he walked out when he got drafted, he looked all nerdy and stuff. But he's out here.
Hey, I will put him on my team. Like that's the type of Schiano recruit. Yeah. You know, do your job. You're 111. Don't care about this. I'm like, and you know, somebody's the most flashiest person, but then they get on the field. Well, can they be the most athletic? Yep. But if they're undisciplined and you're trying to do your own stuff, you're messing it up for everyone else.
Completely.
You know, just like with I was talking about earlier with people over pursuing.
Right.
If you're just going for kill shots all the time, I'm like, all right, you're getting in my way where I'm supposed to be at. Now you're messing everything up.
Mm-hmm. You could be a 99 and Madden and everything, but if you're over pursuing and not staying in your gap assignments, that's the name of the game. And I mean, that's what I love about Schiano. Not only does he get talented guys, but he gets the right guys. He gets them to buy in. I'm excited to see how this defense rolls. I mean, they got Delaware after Syracuse, so you know, don't sleep on Syracuse. But I want to be 3-0 heading into that Michigan game at Michigan, and then what's up?
You got to understand, like we were just talking about before with this whole Gavin Wimsatt situation. Me personally, myself, if Vedral comes out and he plays like he did against Temple and Rutgers wins 30-27 or 30-24, it's on. It's on. That week in practice coming up, the boy didn't come here for no reason. I know he's only probably 17 or 18 years old, but he didn't come here for no reason. If he goes out there
and play this year,
if he goes out there and he lights it up at practice, Gleason and Schiano have no choice but to put that boy on the field because he's going to elevate their. Rutgers has never had a quarterback of this.
I've talked to my boy Mike Till earlier this week, and me talking to him, like if I'm gonna talk to somebody about being a quarterback at Rutgers, I'm gonna ask him, and he basically said, you know, he can be the most talented by far, but he didn't have a training camp at all. So you're coming from high school
Yeah.
You're not
Last week.
You're not in college shape, and if you get hit by some of them, I'm like, it's not the same thing.
Yeah, it's
but
not
then
the same.
also, even if you may take in some of the stuff, being able to, and now it can be a little controversy here, is that making those reads, but that's still a lot to put in.
Yeah.
And if he would have came during camp, but
Right.
hey, you never know. I've seen crazy things happen.
Yeah.
And
only thing I would say is if he's able to pick up the playbook fast, if he's a quick
that's
learner,
the main thing. Yeah.
If he's able to pick up the playbook, at least 50 to 60% of it by the Delaware game, you're going to see him out there.
Well, that's another thing. Because he's such a highly rated recruit, I don't think he's the last guy they want to rush in there.
No, of course. The perfect situation for Rutgers is Vedral comes out this weekend, kills it. So throws for 300 or 250, 3 touchdowns, no picks, you know what I'm saying? Very efficient. That's the perfect story. Then, okay, cool. We can bring this kid in slowly, let him catch up, let him learn the college pace and everything like that at a gradual time, at a regular pace. But if Vedral, excuse my language, but if he shits the bed again this week, like, it's on. Because if you got that, like you said, that talent, Rutgers has never had a talent like this at quarterback position ever in the program. They've never had, maybe Ray Lucas back in like 94, 95.
Mike McMahon too. Mike McMahon.
Yeah, McMahon too. But
Mike
McMahon he's another one. But
Mike was a big recruit.
Yeah, Mike was big time out of Don.
No, Mike was a real big recruit.
Yeah, but I'm saying, man, like they've never had a quarterback that this boy can throw the deep ball. He can run. He's accurate.
I get what you're saying now on that part. I get what you're saying on there.
Yeah. Like they've never had that type of talent before ever in the history of all at Rutgers.
It's a big time quarterback recruit, and yeah, we're not necessarily used to those, especially in recent years. I'm fired up about it. You can see why what they see in Vedral, because he's a running guy, and in that spring game he was making quick decisions. That's just what I want to see. I mean, I'm a particular stat line, I don't know, but like decisions with conviction, quick decisions, and that's it. Quick and decisive. And that last game was a little worrisome in a game that I thought didn't need to do it.
I've seen him, like you were talking about, I've seen him be able to complete some of those passes. I've seen him have better decision making, so that's why it's like, okay, if you don't have to believe in the quarterback at all, but I can believe that he can do it.
Right.
But put up or shut up. You have to do it. Right. Just because I can run a 4.2. All right, run a 4.2 on the field then. Well, don't go out there and running like you're running 4.8 or forever.
Yeah.
Dean and I were so high on Art Sikowski, who's now what?
Art, he did a good job against Nebraska, got the win. He played a good game. He played a good game last week against UTSA. It was just the defense. Like Illinois' defense did not show up at all. Like, he played a good game. You know what I'm saying? He had another 2 touchdown game, no interceptions, I don't think. And he was efficient. You feel me? But again, like,
where's Art? I thought he went to Michigan.
He went to Illinois. No, he's in Illinois.
But he's not starting, right?
Huh?
He's not starting though, right?
Yeah, he is now because the starter got hurt in the first series against Nebraska.
I think the starter came from Michigan.
The starter came from Michigan. Went to Illinois. Brandon Peters,
Yeah, he got hurt. He was balling. He was balling.
He got hurt the first series against Nebraska. Art comes in and played he went 14 for 22 for 160 yards and 2 touchdowns. Like, he played an efficient game, and they won. And last week he played another efficient game. It's just Illinois' defense did not show up. I guess they thought UTSA did not want to play football or didn't come there to play football. I don't know, but that was not a good loss for the Big Ten.
Now my question should I say the elephant in the room is that why aren't we talking about our backup quarterbacks?
Right.
They're not.
That's why I brought it up. Like, me and Bean were all ready for Art, and then he wasn't perfect.
No, but Manny's talking about the guys that are there now.
Oh, with Rutgers.
Yeah.
The main point being that Vedral has not convinced us, yet, and it's still the same. I wasn't I wasn't, shouting out my TV the way I might have a couple times last year with Vedral in game one because, he didn't need to be a certain way. But at Michigan, home against Ohio State, home Michigan State, at Northwestern, and then at Illinois, and then Wisco, Indiana, Penn State, Maryland to round out the schedule. Penn State looked pretty good, by the way.
Hell yeah, they looked like they were back on their team again.
Yeah. That's a scary game later on.
Yes, man. No, like Manny said, the elephant in the room. Okay, the backups are Cole Snyder and what's the other guy's name? He's from Pennsylvania.
Yeah, Western PA. I know who you're talking about.
I can't remember his name, but they are not. Cole Snyder looked very good in the spring game. He went like 12 or 14 or something like that. Had a really good pass to Isaiah Washington, one-handed catch, but
they actually had him warming up too. I got the list up here. We got
Evan Simon,
Cole Snyder, Gavin.
That's it. Those are the two. Schiano calls him 1A, 1B, so or like 2A, 2B. So there's no definite backup. But after Gavin Wimsatt announced that he was leaving, Schiano brought them all in the room, told them what was going on, and he said, "Hey, this is a program where competition will make you elevate your game, and we're bringing another guy in here." Even though Vedral said when they interviewed him after the Temple game about Gavin Wimsatt, he said, "Hey, look, rent's due every day here. Every day rent is due." So he goes, "But we're gonna open it. We're gonna welcome him with open arms." But I think honestly, if Vedral plays like he did against Temple against Syracuse and Rutgers wins by like 3 or less than a touchdown, it's going to be a matter of time before the media, before the fans, they're pushing for this kid to get on the field. Because if he can't play like that against Michigan, Ohio State, Michigan State, you know what I'm saying, they're going to lose.
He can't play like that against Syracuse.
Yeah, he can't. He really can't.
I mean,
I was shocked he played like that against Temple. And then, it's his, hey.
Is Johnny Langan ready enough to?
No, they won't. No, Schiano already stated that if Vedral gets hurt, they're going to go to either Cole Snyder or Evan Simon. But now you got Wimsatt here, so it depends on how fast he picks up the playbook. Because if he picks up the playbook, they're going to throw him in there, man. They're going to put him in there.
Well, going back to what Teal said, and when him and Manny talked, I mean, as fun as that would be, it's just hard to get your hopes up.
Yeah, that's the Big Ten. You're not just going out. I don't care, because that's when we get to the heart of our schedule and we're going against the Big Ten. It's like, okay. If we were in I don't know, like D1, hey, the ACC. You know what? Most divisions I can't slouch on. They're not all slouches, but they all, and even when they play Delaware, a Schiano practice will be a Schiano practice.
Yep.
He has a part to prove. He's gonna treat them like it's Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, another thing with Wimsatt, they can redshirt him if they don't play him.
Yeah, well, he can play up to 4 games and still get his red shirt.
Oh shit, we're actually it's less than a minute remaining in the Zoom, so I mean, we can wrap up now. We can start a new one.
But it's up to you.
Yeah, no, I think we got most of our stuff across. I hate to kind of end it abruptly, but this was cool. I'm glad we got to talk a little NIL, quarterback. I mean, that's it. We like our defense, special teams. It's the quarterback situation. That's going to be the ongoing theme.
I would say next week's conversation will be a little bit more intense and detailed. Should I say?
Yeah. This is more of a real game.
Yeah, because that's I can't even say real. Temple's not that bad. Temple's not.
Yeah, they put up 61. You put up 61 anytime against anyone. That's a day.
Yeah, but it's